we get into this edition of Titans Today, if you are excited about the offseason, a pivotal, impactful one for Tennessee, and of course the quarterback search, show it by liking today's video right now. We're going to begin and have the entirety of today's show on the quarterback search, in particular the future of Aaron Rodgers and the inevitable ties that will arise between him and the Tennessee Titans. The Titans were immediately linked as a potential destination for a variety of reasons we'll get to here in a second, after Jay Glazer reported the Jets had informed Aaron Rodgers, hey, we're moving on. This is not the route we want to go. That's been backed in some capacity by like NFL Network, ESPN. Hasn't been made official yet. It will be at some point, though, in the not-too-distant future. Now, there are some logical links here between Rodgers and the Tennessee Titans. He has land in Nashville. I don't know if he's officially built the house or what the status was there, but he's made a lot of comments in the past about Tennessee, how he likes it. And I think that's going to be his, like, I retire, I'm going to stay in Nashville. I'm going to stay in the state of Tennessee. Of note, Chad Brinker was with him in Green Bay. So there's, in theory, a relationship, or at least knowledge from Brinker's side about Aaron Rodgers, the person, beyond just the player. And, you know, Tennessee needs a quarterback kind of bad. That's not up in doubt at all. That is a very real thing this team needs. Rodgers' past season was not that good. You know, it's under 4,000 yards. Again, back-to-back years he's done that. For a guy that was once, say, like, at times almost, look at 21. He's 37 TDs, 4 interceptions. Guy that's been like a 6-1, 5-1 TD interception guy in the past was under 3-1 the past 2 seasons with the Packers and the Jets, ignoring the 2023 campaign where he tore his Achilles. Now, before we get into some more on this, I do want to mention the path in which Rodgers arrives in Tennessee, because the contract matters here. He has a $35 million option bonus due before the season. He also has a $2.5 million baseline. That is before the regular season. At some point, it's got to be paid out, so there is some flexibility on that. When it gets paid out, I should say. The total cash you'd be paying Aaron Rodgers if he was on your team under his current contract is $37.5 million. Now, the cap hit would only be $9.5. Wouldn't be as expensive because that option bonus, there's void years on his deals, gets spaced out over 5 seasons. But that would leave $28 million in dead money. You can take it all in 1 year or post-June 1st cut him and make it more like 14-14. So there is some flexibility in terms of how it hits. But in the end, you're paying $37.5 million for 1 season of Aaron Rodgers. And because of that, there's almost zero chance, unless Rodgers says, yes, I will do a trade and take less money, which seems unlikely because then he can just pick his destination in free agency. It's almost zero chance a team, Titans included, would actually trade for Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't make any financial sense. So do you want to sign Aaron Rodgers to the Tennessee Titans organization? It's the pinned comment on today's show, so if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there. Y for yes, N for no. Now, NFL insider James Palmer, who used to work for NFL Network, now does stuff for Bleacher Report and Underdog, had a really lengthy conversation about what he's heard on Aaron Rodgers and Tennessee. I heard during the week, Nash came up a few different ways. I think the reason why Nashville's coming up is with the Titans is he does live there. That's part of it. 2, Titans are open to trading back or don't want one of these top QBs, whether it's Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. If they're open to that, if they come to that conclusion, they move out of the first spot, and someone does love the QBs, they can get a haul. And then Aaron could be essentially that bridge. He's obviously better than Will Levis, played actually good football during the back end of the season. I don't know how many options Aaron Rodgers is going to have. So I think that for sure may be an option on the table. Look, a lot of different elements brought up there by James Palmer, and a lot of it makes at least some sense. You know, we mentioned the location angle of it. And if you don't believe in Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders or any quarterback in this class, at least not in first round, if you find someone like on day 3, sure, whatever, trading down, getting a bridge veteran quarterback makes a lot of sense. Because I can't do another year of Will Levis, man. I can't do it. I don't want to do a year of Mason Rudolph either. Let's try something else. And there aren't a lot of great options out there. You know, Sam Darnold may be a free agent, might get franchise tagged and traded. That's going to cost you $35 to $40 million per year. And, you know, is he going to be as good outside of Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson? Justin Fields, Russell Wilson are free agents from Pittsburgh. Kirk Cousins could be a trade candidate, but he was coming off a down season. Derek Carr is going to be owed $40 million this year. Now, if he's cut, maybe that starts to make some more sense. Maybe Matthew Stafford's available, but are you in a position to go be an aggressive, top end of the market player for Stafford in a trade? And then it's Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jameis Winston. The other options are not exactly highly appealing for Tennessee because the supply and demand don't match up very well. More on this to come, of course, but today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. There's no more football, but All-Star Weekend is almost here, and Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching your favorite players during the game and the events like the 3-point contest, for example. Do the flex play on whatever you do, basketball or baseball related. My boy Jack Lauderay, our MLB expert here, has this Prize Pick slate. The Durant pick is a bit of a homer, but that's what the flex play is for. You can still get one wrong. And, I love the more thans on season-long stuff because if they're healthy, they'll get there. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play that first $5 lineup. There are some betting odds out there if you want to get in on that. On Rodgers' next team, Pittsburgh plus 200, the Raiders plus 300, Niners plus 350, Minnesota, completing the Brett Favre arc, is plus 400. Tennessee's plus 700. That's actually decent value relative to the other 5 teams on there. Doesn't mean I want it necessarily. Doesn't mean it'll end up happening either. What is the percent chance you think that the Tennessee Titans end up signing Aaron Rodgers? Drop that figure for me in the comments of today's show. The biggest issue I have with Aaron Rodgers in Tennessee is figuring out how much is really, truly left in the tank for a 41-year-old QB. He turns 42, by the way, in December of this upcoming year. Palmer made the comment, he played good football in the back end. I have some, okay, yes, but involved there. And I'm going to try to cherry pick the best stats for back end and not just be we can't count that game. Got to have a full sample size. And 2 different sample sizes stand out. The first to me is the last 5 games where the Jets went 2-3. He's averaging 7.7 yards. That's a very good figure. 64.2% completion rate. 1,000+ yards, 9 TDs, 3 interceptions. And or his last 10 games when he was at 64%, 6.8 yards per attempt, 18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. They also only won 3 games in that 10-play sample size. Here's my main issue. You use stuff like EPA play, which I think is a pretty good metric for overall health of the offense. And the passing game is heavily impacted by the quarterback, right? Last 5 games, he was 23rd in EPA per play, 0.0061 per play. It's positive, but still. He was 20th over the last 10 games, slightly better at 0.006. He was also 20th over the entire season, with not as many quarterbacks qualifying over the course of the season as they did the last 10 games. It's partially why he moved up. Derek Carr didn't count for all of those. 0.0057 in that range. So, that's better than Will Levis. Make no mistake about it. But it is just a stopgap option. And at his age, it's fair to wonder how much more improvement can be expected. Now, we have passed the 10,000 subscriber mark. Thank you all so much for helping us get there. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/Titans today for more free Titans YouTube videos, including in the near future, mock draft trades for Tennessee. Final thoughts here. I think the ceiling is limited, which is a weird thing to say with Aaron Rodgers, but it's where we're at because he's 41 years old now. I don't think you're going to be a legitimate, real contender with Aaron Rodgers at QB. And frankly, I do worry about all the extra stuff. The report from The Athletic was that the Jets told Rodgers, you're not doing McAfee anymore. You're going to be there for all of training camp. The McAfee stuff, I actually don't care about. Whatever, that's fine. Not being there for training camp, yes, that matters. He needs to be there. Come on, you're a pro football player. Let's be serious. I worry about all the extra stuff you have to deal with. The always something going on with Rodgers. Frankly, the ego is one way of describing this. I don't feel like the team is first when it comes to Rodgers too frequently. But just based on the on-the-field stuff, given who's available, look, you can argue he's at least one of the better options. And if it raises your floor enough to win some games, keep your head coach's job, and then still be in position to get a quarterback next year, which those are a little bit dicey to figure out. But if you trade down and you get extra draft capital, maybe it can all work out in the end. Then it can start to make some sense for Tennessee.